And welcome to the much-anticipated return of Sweet Home SEC here on the Great American Sports Network, greatamericansportsnetwork.com, and tweet us at GASN Sports. Clint Schweitzer, Noah Groniger, it's great to be here. It's great to be enjoying bowl season.
We're going bowling.
We are going bowling today, and we're right in the middle of this, right in the thick of it is the college football playoff getting ready to kick off here on Saturday. We got Alabama, Washington, Clemson, Ohio State, and we are going for a winner. We are going to crown a champion here in the next week or so. And I tell you what, it's a great time of year. You've enjoyed all the bowl games. You've unwrapped all the gifts. The ball's about to drop from the ceiling. You're about to have some confetti. This is a great time of year. Bowl games, are there too many, though? We've had quite a few. The Dollar General Bowl's where I drew the line. Couldn't watch that one.
Well, we have gone a little bit out here with too many bowls maybe, but all these teams, they deserve a little game at the end of the season. These college kids kind of pat on the back for going the 6-6. Maybe some 5-7 teams might sneak in there, but it is what it is, and we've got our playoff. We clamored for it. We got it. The 4 teams are in, and Washington gets first chance at beating the video game boss, Alabama.
You mean the Mike Tyson from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the unbeatable evil empire known as the Alabama Crimson Tide? Well, we're going to be talking about all that and much more, including LSU's game in the Citrus Bowl coming up against Lamar Jackson.
I think we might have a special guest for that game.
I think we do. It's going to be, in fact, Michael Clayton, one of the great receivers in LSU football history, first-round pick of the Bucs in 2004.
3 national champs with Nick Saban under the helmet at LSU.
Yes, we're going to talk to him about that, playing for Nick Saban and his thoughts on this year's college football playoff, all that and much more coming up here on Sweet Home SEC. And we've talked about some of the great sponsors that have come from bowl season. You've got the Dollar General Bowl, which featured, I think, Troy State and somebody, and you've had the Outdoor World Camping Bowl, Independence Bowl. You've had the City of San Diego Chamber of Commerce Poinsettia Bowl. So we thought here on the Sweet Home SEC it was time that we got ourselves a sponsor, and our producers have surprised us this holiday season with a sponsor of our own, and it's going to be revealed right here. We don't even know what it is yet. They are going to surprise us up right here, and
alrighty then, the Lay's Vegetable Straws is presenting the show, a great sponsor. We're very happy to have it on.
Veggie straws, really?
Yeah, I mean the show.
Okay,
I think so. I think it works.
Great. The Veggie Straws Sweet Home SEC show, which you can now also listen to on iTunes, by the way, and thank you so much if you are doing so.
And that is provided to you by Veggie Straws, our sponsor. They've provided us with some funds to now be on iTunes, and we've made it. And thank you, Veggie Straws.
Well, hopefully they don't move on to bowl sponsorships. We'd be in some real trouble. But as things have shaken out so far, one thing that is of note is the SEC, as we sit today, and this is before the Citrus Bowl, which will add another game for the SEC, but they're 3-4 in bowl games, and that included a Tennessee win over Nebraska, and the 3-4 in bowl games. Down year for the SEC. Is this a 1-year snapshot, or is this something to maybe the powers are starting to move a little bit towards another conference, maybe the ACC or Big Ten?
I think it might be moving a little bit towards the Big Ten. I don't see how these teams are going to get back on track quickly. I think they'll come back and they'll get their quarterbacks in there and they'll get things figured out. And the SEC will be a power again, maybe in 2 years, 3 years' time. But right now, I look at the Big Ten and Jim Harbaugh and what they're doing over there at Michigan and Urban Meyer at Ohio State. I mean, you just look at these teams and what they're doing, Penn State, James Franklin. So I like what the Big Ten has right now, and it's really just Alabama and the SEC, just unadulterated powerhouse that they have built there. It's going to take some time for these other teams to catch up.
Well, I think maybe most disappointingly here in this bowl season was a game like Arkansas and Arkansas and Virginia Tech. Okay. From the other night, and Arkansas blows a 24-0 lead. Does this seem like a pattern? Arkansas is one of the most psychotic football teams I've ever seen. This year, you saw them win in a shootout against Ole Miss. You saw them beat down the Florida Gators, a team that went on to win the SEC East.
That game against Virginia Tech, I mean, there's a fumbled punt. The Arkansas player did not have possession. They award the ball to Virginia Tech. And then you see Brett Bielema on the sideline talking with the refs for about 5 minutes, and then they're like, no, Arkansas ball!
He talked him into it.
He swayed us. He's a very persuasive man, that Brett Bielema. They review it. There's no way that Arkansas player had possession of the football for 1 split second, and yet they keep the ball with Arkansas. At halftime, Brett Bielema is leaving the field. He's interviewed saying, well, I'm on the rules committee. I know that rule. Our guy had possession, even though he didn't. And I promise you this, Arkansas faithful, college football fans watching around the world, we are playing 4 quarters. You are not going to see us blow this lead. It's 24-0. They have an explosive offense over there. I'm going to go talk to them. I'm going to rile them up. We are playing 4 quarters. We do not score another point, and we lose the game 35-24. Come on! Seriously?
That's one of the biggest come-on moments of the bowl season to me.
You did the exact opposite. Whatever you did at halftime in that locker room was the exact opposite. They completely shut down and stopped playing.
Well, do you remember what happened in the last week of the regular season, the day after Thanksgiving in Columbia, Missouri, where they blew a 24-7 lead against a 3-win Missouri team? Unbelievable. And you got to start answering for this. I think next year, Brett Bielema starts the year on the hot seat. When you
have to after that bowl game and what happened in Missouri, you have to start the year on the hot seat. If this continues, if you're not finishing games, you're gone.
Psychotic football team, the Arkansas Razorbacks. When you look at the Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma and Auburn, I think that's an intriguing matchup. But I think Oklahoma, the way they're playing right now, the way Baker Mayfield and that offense, D.D. Westbrook at receiver for Oklahoma, I think that they're going to be too much. I think Auburn's defense outperformed them, the offense all year. Auburn had a very good defense that kept them in a lot of games, but this Sugar Bowl I think it's going to be an Oklahoma Boomer Sooner party, man.
It is. I don't know how that Auburn offense can possibly score and keep up with Oklahoma. They do have a good defense. I don't think they're going to be able to hold Oklahoma enough for that offense of Auburn to stay in the game. You look at Joe Mixon. There's been a lot of talk. Should he even be playing in this game? Should he be at another school right now, a Western Kentucky or something? But he is on the team.
Stay away from that one.
He is on the team, and he's playing in this bowl game, and that is huge for them. Joe Mixon is a nightmare. D.D. Westbrooks, Baker Mayfield that you talked about. I mean, this is just too much firepower for Auburn to slow down enough for that offense to do anything resembling this being a close football game.
And now joining us to talk about all that and much more, including the big Citrus Bowl game, is our guest at this time, former national champion as member of the LSU Tigers back in 2003, Michael Clayton. Michael, welcome to the show, man. How's everything going?
I'm blessed, man. Getting excited about the new year rolling in here quickly.
Well, before the new year rolls in, we have LSU taking on Louisville here in this bowl game. Of course, Ed Orgeron gets the job. First off, I wanted to get your thoughts on that. I mean, he came in for a fired Les Miles in the middle of the season and did a pretty good job. What do you think about Ed Orgeron getting the job there at your alma mater at LSU?
Well, I think it's a big energy booster, especially for a lot of guys who are from Louisiana. I've never met Coach O, but I've heard nothing but great things. The players have vouched for him. The players played hard for him. And that's really what you want to see when you have tribulations like we experienced at LSU. When you lose a great coach like Les Miles, we know that the players loved and respected him. And I was honored to have a relationship with Coach Miles and hated to see him go in that fashion. But when you have a guy like Coach O who can keep the energy high in that transition, because it can be a hit or miss process, but if your players are responding and your players play well, you know that you've made the right decision, and I support it 100%.
Well, getting into this game, what do you see from this LSU-Louisville bowl game, and what do you think about Leonard Fournette sitting out the game to kind of get ready for his NFL future?
Well, it's definitely going to be a game to really set the tone for next year. To be able to make it to any bowl is always an honor, regardless of what type of success that you have, because you get an extra game to go into the off season with energy and pizzazz and togetherness. So to be able to play against a tough Louisville team, will be able to reset, press the reset button, and it's a great way to start the season off playing against a good bowl team in Louisville. They're going to have to play together as a team, and they're going to have to play great to win this game and to represent the SEC well. And, it's a great atmosphere here in Florida. I have the pleasure of going to see my boys tomorrow, driving down to Orlando. I'm here in Tampa. And it's always a pleasure. There's a lot of Tiger fans here in Florida, and I know that a lot of the Tiger pride is high right now in the Tampa Bay area.
Well, you mentioned this being a big opportunity for LSU, taking on the Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson and LSU. Obviously, they had such a tremendous start to the season. A lot of people had them penciled into the college football playoff until they lost a close game to Clemson, and then they kind of folded down the stretch. But LSU's won some big games. Coach Orgeron's taken this team and done some good things. They lost a very close game to Florida, of course, lost to Alabama down the stretch. But other than that, LSU really turned around, had a school record for yards against Missouri in his first game. How big is this game for the LSU Tigers, especially and for the SEC, which, as we said, is 3-4 in bowl games? It hasn't been a good stretch for bowl games and for the SEC in general.
Yeah, it's going to be a really big game. Like I said, this is going to be a great start to starting off next season. And, you know, I remember back in 2002, we played in the Cotton Bowl against Texas, and, you know, we had lost Matt Mock early in the season, and Marcus Randall was our quarterback, did well. And we went out and we got beat. And we had a bad taste in our mouths, and we came back the next year after losing to Arkansas that last game and then going to the Cotton Bowl and losing. It was a bad taste for us. And we were able to come together as a team. And I think that one of the greatest things that Coach Saban has instilled in his players is that you treat wins and losses all the same. You have a 24-hour rule. You move on to being your very best self. And I think that the difference, you know, gaining confidence against a Louisville team for Coach O is definitely going to be a situation where he'll be able to reestablish his players, get to know them a little better, playing outside of the SEC, playing against a high-caliber team on the road in a neutral environment. And this will be a great test for Coach O and his staff. You know, really excited about Canada coming in and seeing an explosive offense. But I'm really excited about Geis. You know, Leonard Fournette is not playing, which I understand. You know, when you make it to that point in your life and you've played and dominated the game as he's played, you know, he earns the right to make that type of decision for him and his family. And players alike across the league, and you know, football players understand that decision and fully respect it because there's a lot at stake in this game, and he could lose a lot. But to have Geis as your backup guy, he's no different. To me, he's a guy with a lot of fire. He's sat behind Fournette. He's learned the tenacity, and he's come in, and I believe every game that he started, you know, LSU won. And I just like seeing young players like him get an opportunity to shine. We're going to see him next year. He's going to be our go-to guy. You have to have an established running game to win in the SEC. Just excited to also see the combination of our passing game open up a little bit. We've been able to open up the game and utilize our players as well. I thought we should have been doing for the past couple of years. So I was really excited about the offensive coordinator who stepped in and did a good job with that.
Well, you mentioned Geis. We went down to Baton Rouge for that LSU-Mizzou game. We saw plenty of him, more than we could handle. But you also mentioned playing under Nick Saban, and he's just built Alabama into the premier college football program in the nation. Just one of the best college football head coaches, if not the best, in the history. What makes Nick Saban who he is and being able to build a program and have as much success as he's had everywhere he's gone?
Well, for one, he's had trial and error. You know, he knows what works and he knows what doesn't work. And on his watch, he's not going to allow what doesn't work to continue to happen, regardless of what your status is, regardless of what type of coach you are, or what your accolades are. You're going to abide by the rules of the land because he knows better. And who else but him who knows better to be the nation's best. You know, we had a tremendous opportunity to win Coach Saban's first national championship, and we did that by establishing a team culture. It was how we prepared. It was how we woke up that morning, you know, the tenaciousness of attacking the classroom, you know, working jobs that we were able to work in the spring. It was like everything that he taught in football, he also taught outside of football, and you really saw players mature and become men. And Coach Saban was a guy, he cared about his players more as people than he did as players. And when you're young and when you mature and you finally get that, you grow to love that type of coaching. And regardless of how hard it is, regardless of what the challenge is, because you know that you have a coach that wants to make you better, you fight for him. And that is the reason why Coach Saban has been able to duplicate what he did at LSU in Alabama. And regardless of where he goes, except for the National Football League, when you have young guys, if you can create that culture, you're probably going to have success. And that is going to be the same exact type of coaching that Coach O is going to have to instill in his players. There's going to have to be a new culture there They're going to have to take away the first-round draft picks and take away the highly touted recruited athletes out of high school. Everybody goes into the season nameless and rankless and go in out as a team and reestablish their culture as winners.
Well, you talked about you guys won a national championship. Nick Saban's first at LSU. Of course, Les Miles went on to win another one back in 2007. But that national championship, and you look at what that did and how it built LSU's program and what it did just as a stepping stone for where we sit now. But the thing of it is, I gotta know what it's like for you personally. You've got your coach that coached you in college, now coaches at an SEC West school at Alabama, a team that LSU for the last few years hasn't been able to get past. What is it like for you personally, looking at the situation as the SEC West is right now? It goes through Alabama, it goes through Tuscaloosa, and LSU is such a good program, but it's got to get around to Alabama at some point. What's it like for you having your former coach kind of in the way for LSU, having further success?
Well, it's a bittersweet situation. I will always and forever be a number one fan of Coach Nick Saban. He's done everything and more than I can ever ask for as a head coach. We still have a great relationship. I started off their season. He flew me down to Alabama and spoke to their football team. I've done it multiple times for Florida State with Coach Jimbo Fisher. And my coaches, have done a tremendous job. And it's a bittersweet because I'm forever LSU. Every college that I go speak to, I wear my LSU colors because I wear it with pride. And, it's been tough living in Florida because, you know what you went through to be the nation's best. You know what you learned from the best college coach, possibly in the history of the NCAA. And, you want to give those pointers back, but it's kind of tough for me to do that on a day-to-day basis living in Tampa. So that's one of the biggest things that I regret not being able to have a hands-on. But maybe sometime in the near future, one day I'll be able to be on the sidelines assisting those guys to greatness as we learned back when I was in college.
Well, Michael, we can't thank you enough for coming on to talk to us today. I tell you what, we hope you have a wonderful New Year. Hopefully you have a great New Year's Eve spent down in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl. And hopefully LSU gets that big win for the SEC, gets the big win for the program for Coach O going forward, man. Hope you have a great time at the Citrus Bowl. Go Tigers. That's with an X, by the way. And we just can't thank you enough for coming on to talk to us today, man. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Always going to be a great day when I get to see my Tigers play.
Hey, absolutely. Have a great time and Happy New Year to you, Michael. Appreciate it.
You too. Happy New Year, brother.
Well, big thanks to Michael Clayton for joining us. He's a big fan of the Ed Orgeron hire, even though he had a good relationship with Les Miles. He played for Nick Saban. I mean, Michael Clayton's he's been around. He seems been a part of some great coaches, been a part of a great program at LSU, and he likes it going forward. I got to agree with him. Darius Geis looks to me like the next Leonard Fournette. I mean, maybe he doesn't have the size and just the complete imposing,
much more shifty and in the hole, gets in the hole quick and gets out, and he's shifty and he's gone.
Maybe a better back for what Ed Orgeron wants to do. Maybe a more open offense, like he talked about, like Michael talked about.
Yeah, and
I like LSU in this game, by the way.
Oh, I do
in the
too.
Citrus Bowl, I really do.
The Cardinals, Louisville, they had their eyes set on the playoff, and once they lost that game to Clemson, it's just been downhill ever since.
They lost to Kentucky to end the year.
Exactly. So you're looking at this, and he says it's bittersweet for him watching the LSU-Alabama games because he played for Nick Saban, but LSU is in his heart. Those are his colors, the purple and gold, and that he bleeds that. And so it's a tough for him, and I don't know how they get back on top to beat in Alabama. Hopefully Nick Saban retires soon. That's all they can hope for.
Maybe the answer, but Ed Orgeron, I do like the hire for LSU. I do like where they're going, and I do agree with Michael on that.
Yeah.
So hopefully he enjoys the game. Hopefully everyone does down there. If you're heading to a bowl game, if you're heading to catch some of this action, we really
catch the Cotton Bowl, hopefully. Wisconsin, Western Michigan. I want to see what PJ Fleck has for Wisconsin. If he can propel that Western Michigan team all season, row the boat. That's his little saying that he has there. So, and I look for him to maybe be the next Notre Dame head coach, PJ Fleck.
He's going to get a big job coming up. And I tell you what, we got. Hey, but New Year's Eve, I tell you what, things are kicking off with the Citrus Bowl, but we got more than that. We got the playoff games, you got the Peach Bowl, and you've got the Fiesta Bowl. It's going to decide a national champion. We already kind of talked about how we like Alabama in
surprise,
the Peach Bowl.
Surprise. Sorry, we couldn't be more out there for you.
They play in Atlanta quite often, do the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think the third time this season they're playing in Atlanta. But who are they going to face in the national championship game? Who do you like in this game? Ohio State, Clemson. A lot of people like Clemson in this game. Ohio State's the favorite. I'm wavering on this. I like Ohio State in a close win. I'm still wavering, though. I could see Clemson doing this and having a rematch from last year.
Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson, they've got something to prove. And Dabo Swinney, I think that they're coming back and they want another shot at the Crimson Tide. And they want another shot at this national champion. And I think that they come through and win the game. JT Barrett, that offense hasn't been explosive. They haven't been getting on the same page. He hasn't been on target with his passes. He's not a great thrower. Urban Meyer's definitely going to keep the game close. He's always got something up his sleeve. But I look for Dabo Swinney and Deshaun Watson to figure it out and get Clemson in the bowl game.
We want to wish everyone a very safe and happy New Year as we head into 2017.
Yes.
And thank our sponsor, the Veggie Straws. I think they're fired. I think I'm done with this. No veggie
Well, you're getting
straws.
rid of our sponsor already.
It was a bad one.
We'll just stick with Stadium Crashers, I guess. The great documentaries.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Whether you're watching via our website, GreatAmericanSportsNetwork.com on YouTube, and also subscribe to us on iTunes as well as YouTube to get this as an audio format in case you're at the gym and want to just pump some iron and listen to us. We appreciate it. Tweet us at GASN Sports. My friends.
Yeah, it's all right there for you. We love the interaction. Do you see Alabama winning, or do you have somebody else? Does Washington stun them, and then the winner is Clemson, Ohio State? Or do you like Washington to go all the way? Let us know.
Let us know, please. And thank you for joining us on Sweet Home SEC. We've enjoyed having you all year as people that love covering the SEC and college football. Clint Schweitzer, Noah Groniger saying, see you at the end of this. We may come back for one final hurrah before we bid adieu for the season.
Yeah, I don't want to go just yet.
I don't want to ride off into the sunset. So a little game of catch. I mean, is this that's big enough? Palatial set here at the Great American Sports Network studios. We have enough room to play some catch. Maybe a little shovel pass. Was that?
Shuffle pass?
Okay, I wasn't ready for that. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Happy New Year.